Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. This will be part 2 or part 3 actually on the Jaguar instrument cluster. Again, this is more of a challenge than making any money on this instrument cluster. The problem with this cluster is actually the microprocessor. I checked everything, every single component. The reason I'm actually recording is because I want to prove this to the customer. I do have a microprocessor here from that module or instrument cluster that I bought, but if they want this one fixed, I don't have to talk to them and see what they want to do to compensate a little bit. Obviously, not the whole time that I have invested, because off a camera, I probably have invested, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 hours trying to locate the problem, because I know they need a car and it has to be fixed. The only other thing that I'm thinking on is what information is inside a microprocessor, because if this microprocessor holds the virtually PROM or a flash memory, I mean, it's a 2000, so it's a little hard to say, right? I don't think that technology was there, but it's a Jaguar, so even though a lot of these Jaguar components and stuff like that are Ford, so you know that too. All right, so let me move you over to the next camera. So as I have everything connected, I'm going to power it up again so you can see that it's still doing the same thing. So one thing also that I noticed, well, that flickering in there is this light in here, the bottom one is a red light. It should be on and it's not on. That is the battery charger, and it's another light on the other side that is not coming on, and I noticed that from my cluster compared to this one. But so let's take a look at that fuel gauge. The only thing that I have connected right now is the fuel gauge, which is the one is going to show us when it's repaired or not. So let's probably 25 seconds. Okay, we see now that it's coming down and it's coming down, and it's nothing you can do. The voltages, I check all the voltages, and the voltage will come back to normal on all the pre-drivers. So I want to show you, well, first, do we need a light? Let me get a little more light in here, so help the camera capture better, right? Because I want you to see that well. So we can turn the cluster lights off. That's going to help the camera kind of like compensate a little bit. So that one has a red dot. This one does not have a red dot. I already removed the microprocessor from the good board, and I'm going to transfer it into this one, which we now know that is the one that has a problem. So I'm going to remove this out of here so it's not on my way, and I'm going to disconnect. Even though I have the power off, I'm going to remove the power from the breakout box that I use for everything. So in this, I'm going to use my tweezers, and I'm going to remove the face. So give me 1 second. Just want to get that out of the way so it's less bulk in here, so I can work more carefully too, right? So because we're going to replace a microprocessor. Just turning everything on. So I'm going to get my camera, my microscope. You're not going to be seeing that. I mean, it's realistically not much to see there. Just want to make sure that you can see this happening. All right, on this one, I'm going to use my stations. I'm going to put this other microprocessor there. Cannot see anything without light. I'm going to have to turn this on. It's going to get really bright. And that might not help you see, because as soon as I get the microscope in there, I might zoom into the microscope. Let's see if I can get a closer to the board without me being in the way too much. Yeah, I think that might work. Yes, because you can see which one is the one is spinning. yes, you will be able to see a little bit what I'm going to do. So it should be really quick. Let me see when I get my hand in here. The camera gonna lose the focus or not? No, I think we're gonna be okay. For this, I'm using my hot air gun in 450 degrees Celsius. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to just heat up the microprocessor around. I already put some flux and I clean it because I don't want to smoke too much. But what I'm doing right now is just heating the board around. You got to be careful with that crystal. You can see how now the smoke is because of the flux. Trying to not get the fan on here, so otherwise you will not be able to hear me. All right, so you got to just go around, put pressure. Yeah, that smoke is nothing abnormal. It's just the flux. All right, so I'm going to, with the same heat that I have here, the gun, just, touch those pads a little bit. Let's put a little more flux. I'm gonna use my hot iron. Yeah, you still can see just to lower those pads because they get a little thick. Let me get my camera into focus here on my microscope. A little blurry. All I'm doing is kind of like down. So they get to take some of them. I think I got a little too much in here. You can use a rose metal. I like to get rid of the extra that you have in your iron, because you want to have, especially for these type of microprocessors, you don't want to remove all the solder, but you don't want to leave a super thick amount. This is already being mixed with my solder. All right, so that looks pretty good. We got this. Well, I can do that later. Okay, the red is the bad one. Let's now let me make sure this microprocessor, yeah, because this needs to be cleaned. Obviously, it was removed. It's a used microprocessor, so I have to clean out those pads that are having some extra solder in here. All I come is with the iron, kind of like get rid of the extra, so I can install it back, or install it not back. Yeah, well, install it back. Yeah, that's correct. And yes, this has orientation. All right, perfect. I'm gonna leave that flux in there. So we have pin 1 on the upper left corner. Get my hand in there, out of there, sorry. And these microprocessors, the letters are actually going to help me know where pin 1 is, or sorry, the pin 1 is actually in the center, in the upper row, and is the, let me see, 4, 6, 7, so 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8. So it's the center pin on the upper section. So what I'm going to do is locate the microprocessor by hand in here, as close as I can to where I feel is in a good position. Since it's not really too hot now, I can do this by hand. Especially the microprocessor is cold, right? The other one is probably toasty. All right, so now that I did that, let me just take a look with my glasses. Yeah, location looks pretty good. I'm going to hold it down with the with the tweezers. Not sure how much you're going to be able to see this, but I'm just going to hold it down. put a little pressure. This is kind of like a springs. It moved. It moved, so I had to relocate it. And this is the reason why I also want to do it like this. Because I know that these are, I have replaced so many of these microprocessors on the 4s. So I'm just going to put a little bit of a pressure. I'm not sure if that doesn't look straight. 1 second, guys. Yeah, this is a little time consuming here. Well, not so much. I don't want to like the, the board get too cold. Okay, I'm going to come with the iron now. And I'm just going to touch the sides. Kind of like let it solder. But right now, that solder iron is in 840 degrees Fahrenheit. So whatever, I'm not really perfectly soldered here. All I'm doing is just kind of like, yeah, right now it's hold. All right, so I'm going to apply a little more flux. And this is going to smoke. So I really would like to have my fan in here. So it's going to get loud, a little loud, guys. Because I don't want to breathe that. So let me take all these leads out of here. I mean, well, we're not using this. Sorry, I'm taking the time for that, but that's part of the videos, right? All right, guys, I'm gonna put that fan on. Then what I'm going to do is use the hot air gun and the tweezer, put some pressure down into the microprocessor while I'm heating up the board. So you want to come around the same way we did, kind of like heating up the pads and the microprocessor, putting pressure on those spring legs. I hope you can see how much smoke. That fan that I have is really, really good. Okay, let me move that tweezer a little bit to this side. On this side, that side that I want to be very careful because that's where the crystal oscillator is. You don't want to put too much temperature into that because it will crack it. All right. One remote. Come on. Finally got it. Got it off. All right. So let me get the fan out. The hose for that exhaust fan. And now we need to inspect this. So let me bring the camera out. So all I'm going to do is now carefully look at the solders. Okay, we have the old one with the red dot in there, right? So I'm going to inspect this with the microscope. So I'm going to just check, make sure that every single pad is soldered. Just the height a little bit. And this time looks pretty good. Perfect. Not so sure about this first ones. A little hard to say. Let me unplug from here. And I'm looking. Sometimes looking at from the front is you don't think it's soldered, and there are. Like that side definitely looks like it need a little bit of a touch up. All right, so 3 sides are perfect. How are you? One, two, three, 4 pads. So we have the first one, and then 4, 5, and 6 needs to be touched up. All right, so the way I do that, I get the use of a tear hand just to hold the board, and you got to be careful where you attach this because a lot of times boards can have power pads in there. So I'm going to again just get the camera microscope myself, sorry, not the camera, the microscope into location. Yeah, I know it's going to be a little hard or impossible for you guys to see, but I'm just going to do this with that camera looking like that, guys. Sorry, I need to get that done. It's just, like I said, touching up ones that are not fully soldered. And that's why you need to be careful, or inspect those. One. Mm-hmm. Just redoing the ones I don't like either. As well, I'm here. The ones I'm redoing now, it was only like 3 of them. There's some in here, they're a little thin or not enough solder. Um, this tip might be a little too thick for this. And that is now working in my hands. Relocate the camera, guys. Okay, you can see it a lot better. And realistically, I want to solder. If I'm doing it, okay, done. All right, so let's quickly get this out of the way. And I'm going to leave that one here so you guys can you cannot now see it. But yeah, there is the microprocessor, the one I just replaced. I'm not going to clean the board or anything. I just want to do the test so you guys can see it now working or not, right? Because if my tests were proper, like I said, all the signals and everything are there. The only thing is in charge to control that to full or work. It is the microprocessor. So I know I will be in the right path by doing this, but I want to confirm it on the video. Hopefully my microphone is picking up me well, a little far away from it. All right, these are, like I said, very easy. Pin 1, ignition, pin 4, ground, pin 15, power, and pin 16, ground. And now I'm going just to put the signal for the gauge. I'm going to keep using the same position of everything. Power and ground in here. Let's get now the gauge. Yep, right there. Okay, so we're going to put the fuel gauge is the second connector. You gotta be careful, make sure to plug it properly, especially in a weird position like this. Come on. Can I believe how much time I have invested on this? All right, so now it's plugged in finally. Yeah, we don't need this light or microscope in here, so I'm gonna just fold it into the corner. Let's see how much we can see with this much light. I need to plug the power supply. And let's try this now, right? All right, so power on. All right, so we got a big, the needle all the way in. I want you to see now that we have this light on and this light on that were not on. So immediately I have a change. That is not working in his, or not in his, with his microprocessor. Now they're working. So that is already fixed. The gauge is in full, so let's count 25 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, guys, this is 100% fixed. As you can see, this is no longer doing it. So, yep. Now the test is in the car. All right, so let me just get you guys into the main capture. Oops, I'm not sure. I pressed the wrong button. So, just as a closure on this video, so you can see how intricate this repair came into, and this is where a charge for a repair on something like what I see at first, a short instrument cluster, could be this much. But when you need to go into this far and replace a microprocessor and everything, yeah, well, I will definitely talk to the customer, and I'm sorry, but this is definitely not a normal repair, and I'm proving it with what I just did. This is a bad microprocessor. So I guess I went ahead and bought a donor module because he sent me one, and I'm going to plug it in so you guys can see that. So this is my cluster. You guys saw with the numbers that I have in there. Those are, coming from eBay. So, and it's a good cluster. So it was operating. You guys saw that in the first part. Oh, please look at the second part. But I'm going to now plug in because he's saying he's going to. Actually, should I even say that or do that? No, I don't want to waste my time. I already checked the cluster that he sent as a used one that he bought trying to correct the issue. That thing is junk. No motors move. You cannot do anything. I want to prove this in here also as well, because I asked him, did this cluster that you have, when you connect it, did any of the gauges move? Because the field gauge should move. Light should come on. The center display should come on. Oh, no, nothing happened. And it's true. Nothing comes off. So that is junk. So that cluster is absolutely garbage. It's no good for anything. And of course, you cannot do any tests with that. But the one I got from eBay, I first tested before I jumped the gun and tried to use any of their components to transfer in here, because that microprocessor, sorry, but you cannot find that anywhere. The only way you can do something like that is as I'm doing it, transferring from another cluster. And I'm leaving everything else because this is, we have in here, this is the controller, but it's also have a RAM memory. And this is the SPC communication, and also is where the mileage and everything is stored. So hopefully everything works perfectly. And in that microprocessor, all we have is just the program and nothing to do with like immobilizer or so on, because on this car they do have, I think, immobilizer, but it's on the BCM, and I don't think it's attached this way onto the instrument cluster. So hopefully we'll be okay. And otherwise, I will just tell the customer, send me that cluster and I'm going to send you yours, or not yours, the microprocessor with a bad one. And I keep this one for parts. But I definitely need to talk to them. All right, but at least this is a good closure. Now we have, and look, all this time, that fuel gauge is completely operational now, no longer having a problem. I'm going to bring this up to a 900. So we can see this going down to 0, staying in 0, because when this is on, and obviously that change is not going to happen like that in the car, like right that quick, right? So, but if I turn this off, right, battery is still connected, and I turn this on, you see that gauge is in 0. Why? Because I am applying 900 ohms. And if we go over to the information that I have not showed you in this video, which let me just show you in a second. All right, so that is this is the connections on this instrument cluster. The yellow is on the right and the black is on the left. Please visit the second video that I explain all this in here. But what I want you to see is in the upper right-ins that I put in there, I put that in there, the voltages that you should see, and also the resistance. That resistance is coming directly from Jaguar. This is, as you see on the right side, is original information. So 900 ohms with an empty tank and 80 ohms with a full tank. So that's what I'm providing in here. And that's how we now have 0. So let's turn the ignition off and let's put, like 500 ohms. Or 400 ohms. That should go around halfway, right? Let's hopefully that is okay. No, it's not really going, because remember, resistances in here only for a minimum can probably match. So we have to go a little lower than that. Let's go into 200. You see 200 ohms is only like what? Like quarter of a tank. So let's go 150. You see 150. 150 ohms is around half a tank. But we can see how nice and steady that gauge is now that I repair it. So yes, it's been taking a long time. I'm obviously not going to hurt the customer, but I want to at least recover some of the parts, pricing a little extra for me. Not crazy, but a little extra for me for this repair, because I think it's well worth it, it's deserved. They're already saying, and this is something that I noticed until later, that somebody else already attempted repair on this cluster and they couldn't repair it. So if I am repairing a cluster that they need for the car, I think it's worth. These are very good cars. They're expensive cars when they're new. Now, I'm not sure, what the shape of this vehicle is right now, but if they're sending something like this to repair it because they want to have the car in pristine shape, and probably it's a car with low mileage and everything, because in here with a car, without the car, we cannot even read the mileage. All right, guys, thank you so much. I hope that you like the content and you can see, do you want to see repairs? Yeah, this is what a repair of a cluster can take, and how intricate and how difficult could be too. All right, thank you so much. See you next time. Bye-bye.